This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
It is the After Party live on this Travel Tuesday. Thank you for spending time and being here for this last hour of the sister shows, the Nikki Maduro show, the Mark Thompson show, and then the follow-up to it all, the After Party live. Glad that you could join me. What a great conversation with David K. Johnston. Really enjoyed it. So much to talk about where politics is concerned. But this show is kind of the place to decompress from it all. It is Travel Tuesday, and we'll be taking a trip to European beaches to see which one we like the best. It was going to be the beaches of Belgium. I'll show you a couple of them. And I have to say, I wasn't that excited about it. So then I started branching out through Europe. So we'll take that trip together today. Also have some amazing pictures to show you of something that a space telescope caught. The pictures are breathtaking. Thank you for the contributions to the show. Thank you for always stepping in and coming through. West Theory, once again, with a $5 super sticker. The way the show continues is for the support. The PayPal link is at the bottom of the show description. It's also here on YouTube. So huge thank you. And thank you to Wes for always being that person who backs me up. So thank you for that. All right. The comment from Mo Direct about this Lake Tahoe, kind of off the cuff. He wants me to set up an LLC in Nevada so 40 or so listeners could chip in. Not a bad idea, Mo Direct. How much do you think we'd need to chip in? I don't know. I don't think I have the funds to chip in anything, but I would definitely come hang out. If you bought it, I'm there. Absolutely. Wasn't that a beautiful property though? It's true. All right, let's move on and go right into the stories of the day, because I've got this really good one about the best weather in America. You're probably thinking, the best weather in America is where I am. Maybe. Some of these surprised me and some not. Let's see what you think. These are the places where the 10 best weather forecasts, or where the weather is the best in America. The first, or the 10th on the list, I should say. So 10th best is Bakersfield, because I thought it was kind of, I don't know, polluted skies in Bakersfield, but that's not what they're saying on this list of the best weather in the United States. The list has been put together to determine the city with the best weather 24/7. And the folks that compiled the list, 24/7 Wall Street, used comparative climatic data from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, trying to create an index based on 11 measures. And here's what they looked at: average temperatures, precipitation, cloud cover, wind, humidity. They say a lot of people prefer warmer temperatures and clear skies, but not too much. Got to have a little bit of rain in there. So they ranked cities based on these features. So for example, they say 72 degrees was the ideal temperature, and they penalized cities that deviated too far from the ideal temperature of 72 degrees, one way or the other. 40 inches of rain and 40% humidity were determined as ideals, and cities were penalized if they deviated too much from these points. And so, when averaging all the weather conditions considered, here are the cities with the best weather. Out of 100 points, Bakersfield, California, gets an 82.5, so they are 10th on the list. The average annual temperature in Bakersfield is 66. It rains about 37 days a year. It averages 90 degrees about 110 days a year, and it averages below freezing 12 days a year. So, Bakersfield does pretty well on the list. Also on the list is Sacramento, California at number 9. Isn't that a pretty picture of our state capital? Sacramento is at 82.6 out of 100 on the weather scale. Average annual temperature, 61.8 degrees. 57 average rainy days a year. Days over 90 degrees, 75. Average days below freezing, 17. It's number 9. Number 8 on the list with an 82.7 out of 100 is Santa Maria, California. Look at that. Doesn't the pictures of the buildings don't look too impressive, but apparently the weather's pretty nice in Santa Maria. An average annual temperature of 58.6, 46 rainy days, 5 days of 90-degree weather or more, 15 days of below freezing. Known for its wine industry, Santa Maria on the Central Coast, about 150 miles northwest of LA, they say it has a cool Mediterranean climate. So it's mostly sunny, can get hot, but the ocean breeze helps to cool things down. Number 7 on the weather list is Fresno. That makes Fresno look really nice. Just, have it in the evening when the lights come on, then take the picture, right? Fresno is ranked number 7. It gets an 82.7 out of 100. And your average annual temperature, pretty close to ideal at 65. Average rainy days, 45. Days over 90, 109. Average days below freezing, 18. Number 6 on the list. Now we're cooking with fire. This is Kahului in Maui. The score for Kahului, 83 out of 100. Average annual temperature is 77. Average rainy days, 88. Average days of over 90, 29. Average days below freezing, 0. Now this is where I'm going. This is good. Number 5 on the list is Honolulu, Hawaii. That's right. Honolulu, Hawaii ranks number 5 on the best weather list at 84.6 out of 100. They've got 78 degrees as the annual temperature, average temperature. 92 days, it rains a year. The rain is different in Hawaii, though, mostly. A little light rain, a little light sprinkle in the sunshine feels so good. Average days of over 90, 25. Average days below freezing, 0. Number 4 on the list surprised me a little bit, but I've not been there, so possibly this is why I don't realize it's so great weather-wise, and it's Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah, why not? It ranks 85.5 out of 100. The average annual temperature in Charleston is 67.2. Average rainy days per year, 107 days. Average days of over 90-degree weather, 30. Average days below freezing, 10. Number 3 on the list. Now, I thought this would be number 1 just before I even read it. This is San Diego, California, and it's 3rd, ranking 85.8 out of 100. Average annual temperature in San Diego, 64.7. Average rainy days a year, 41. Average days over 90, 3. Average days below freezing, 0. Number 2 on the list is Los Angeles, California. A little hazy skies in that picture, but weather's good. Number 2 on the list, 65.8 degrees, the average annual temperature in LA. The average rainy days per year, they said it's not applicable. They didn't have an average number of days, but they said it's about 14.3 inches of rain a year. Average number of days over 90, 21. Average days below freezing, 0. And the number 1 city, best weather in America, the fine city of Long Beach. A little bit of crime, but hey, the weather's really good. It ranks 87.3 out of 100 on their scale. The average annual temperature in Long Beach, 64.9. Average rainy days, 34. Average days over 90, 22. Average days below freezing, 0. So Long Beach ranks as having the best weather nationwide. The coastal city, 21 miles south of downtown LA, can have different weather from LA, but it also has a hot semi-arid climate, or a hot summer Mediterranean climate. The hot summer is about 22 days of temperatures reaching 90 or more, and the mild to warm winters have no days of freezing temperatures. They like it. They say yes. Yes on Long Beach. So there you go for the best weather in America, just in case you were wondering. Let's take a look at cocaine sharks. Apparently, it's a thing. Yeah. Cocaine sharks have been found off the coast of Brazil. Now, they're not really called cocaine sharks. They're called Sharpnose, Brazilian Sharpnose sharks. But these sharks off the coast of Brazil are testing positive for cocaine in their muscle tissue and in their livers as well. They had 13 wild Brazilian sharpnose sharks tested, and the concentration was as much as 100 times higher than previously reported for other aquatic creatures in this area. The researchers have said that sea life could be impacted by drugs dumped into the water by smugglers, tons of cocaine found around Florida and South and Central America, and now we know it is indeed making a difference. There is evidence, according to the Oswaldo Cruz Foundation in Brazil, that sharks are being affected by drugs that are polluting our oceans. They dissected 13 wild Brazilian sharpnose sharks brought in from small fishing vessels. These species spend their entire lives in coastal waters and were the most likely to be affected by pollution. So they used standard techniques called liquid chromatography, and they used it in tandem with mass spectrometry, where they separate the molecules in liquid to look for cocaine and benzoligonine, which is the main metabolite in that drug as well. And they found muscle and liver tissue were tested, and all 13 were positive for the drug, with, again, this concentration as much as 100 times higher than other aquatic creatures. It's the first study to find the presence of cocaine in free-range sharks. So, more prevalent in their muscle tissue than in their livers. But the study and the field of research, they said, was really limited. And the impact of cocaine or benzoligonine, which is, again, the protein, on aquatic life isn't fully known. The research, in case you're interested in more, is published in the outlet Science of the Total Environment. So it's Science of the Total Environment. In June of last year, which is interesting to note, the U.S. Coast Guard seized more than 14,100 pounds of cocaine in the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean, with an estimated value of $186 million. That's just what they got. Think of all the stuff that was chucked overboard. Makes a big difference to life, polluting our oceans with that stuff. Can we talk for a moment about this giant lizard? This was a little bit freaky because the reports were there was a 10-foot long alligator loose in the state of Washington. You can see kind of that hazy picture. Now, if I saw this picture, I would think, oh, that does look like a gator. When you look at the tail, totally looks like a gator, right? Wrong. It was actually an Argentine tegu lizard, T-E-G-U, tegu lizard. It is in the Granite Falls area. It was much smaller than 10 feet long, but people that saw it were like, oh, there's a 10-foot long alligator running around Washington State. The Snohomish County Sheriff's Office issued an alert on Friday on social media with this grainy photo of a reptile that was initially thought to be this 10-foot long gator seen heading toward the Pilchuck River. So the police speculated on Facebook that it might have been a crocodile. Okay. They realized, residents in this area, that it wasn't a crocodile. This woman saw it. Her name is Shanna, and she said, I think that's my Argentine tegu Taz. I just checked his enclosure, and he isn't there. He's friendly to people and very loved, not dangerous, she wrote. Okay, why do you have a lizard that's that big? Do you think it's happy living in an enclosure on your property? Well, the search was mounted for Taz, the tegu lizard. He's much less than 10 feet long. They now say that Taz was captured, has safely been returned home, and is sadly back in his enclosure. Is it weird to anybody that that's allowed? Because I think that's weird. I don't think that's allowed where I live. I don't know. There is a blood test that has the ability to detect multiple diseases. This could be the way of the future. It's a protein blood test, and it might be able to predict the onset of dozens of diseases, according to this new study reported Monday in the journal Nature Medicine. An analysis of protein signatures in just a droplet of blood can predict 67 diseases, including cancers of the blood, degenerative nerve diseases, lung disease, heart failure, all kinds of things. And this is a pretty big study done as well. The researchers looked at the blood proteins of more than 40,000 randomly selected participants in this ongoing study in the UK Biobank. That's who did the study. So they looked at participants' electronic health records, and they pinpointed 5 to 20 proteins most closely associated with each of these diseases. The protein signatures outperformed other standard tests that use measures like blood cell counts, cholesterol levels, kidney function, and blood sugar levels to predict these 67 diseases. And the researchers say, out of Queen Mary University in London, that several of their protein signatures perform similarly or even better than proteins already trialed for their potential as screening tests, like the prostate-specific antigen for prostate cancer. So, they say we're therefore extremely excited about the opportunities that our protein signatures may have for earlier detection and ultimately improved prognosis for many different diseases. And this simple blood test could also help in the search for new medicines as well. A key challenge in drug development has been in the identification of patients most likely to benefit from those new medicines. So if you could use a protein blood test like this to help identify people at high risk across a wide range of diseases, that could help with medicines as well. So, pretty good. Well, from the serious to the, I guess it's serious if you were in the Weinermobile. Uh-oh, there was an accident. It's not a pretty picture for the Weinermobile. No, it crashed. Unfortunately, had a bit of an accident. Yikes, look at that. The Weinermobile has fallen, and it happened in Chicago. Oscar Mayer reporting that the Weinermobile flipped on a busy Chicago area highway. It crashed into a vehicle, flipped onto its side around lunchtime on Monday on a very busy highway in Chicago. A little after 11 a.m., it was traveling northbound on I-294 right before Roosevelt Road when the Weinermobile driver struck a Hyundai sedan also traveling north. After striking the Hyundai, the driver of the Weinermobile lost control, overcorrected, and the vehicle flipped onto its side. Yikes. You can see maybe a little better there what happened. Oh no. The Weinermobile is down. No injuries reported. There was a big old traffic backup. The photo and the video from the scene shows the orange and yellow Oscar Mayer Weinermobile being hauled away on the platform of a semi-truck. Another angle shows the vehicle flipped over on its side. You can see here with the hot dog on top. The next stop in the Chicago area was supposed to be July 27th at Tony's Fresh Market. I don't know if they're going to make it. This isn't the only Weinermobile, though. They've got 6 different hot dogs on wheels driving around the country at all times. So there's a lot more Weinermobiles where this came from. But kind of a bummer to be the guy that crashes the Weinermobile. Uh-oh. Yeah, not pretty. Let's talk about the Northern Lights. I know we had the Northern Lights here in the Bay Area, and it was really exciting. And while we might not have them back in the Bay Area, there is an opportunity apparently coming because of a solar storm for the Northern Lights to be visible from New York to Idaho. So if you live in those areas, you've got a shot. This solar storm could bring the Northern Lights to the northern United States this week. The National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration says they are looking at a G2 geomagnetic storm watch for early Wednesday. So the aurora borealis could become visible above some northern and upper Midwest states. Again, from New York to Idaho, parts of Canada as well. The solar storm erupted from the sun Sunday and is expected to reach Earth by early Wednesday. So the window for the arrival starts early July 24th, and the storm will likely be a little bit late because of slow solar wind traffic and an additional glancing storm blow ahead of it. The ions may collide with the Earth's atmosphere, releasing energy in the form of the light that we know as the Northern Lights. So this storm is classified as a G2. The scale ranges from a G1 to a G5. So we'll see. They had initially rated that one back in May a G5, and that's when we saw the Northern Lights here in California. But if you live in the Midwest, anywhere from, New York to Idaho and parts of Canada, get ready, because you could have some cool views at night. There is a breakthrough when it comes to the health of our pups. And you guys know I love this picture. It's my go-to dog pic because he's just so cute. Look at him. Adorable. Researchers say they might have been able to stop completely this inherited form of blindness in dogs. The genetic disease is called progressive retinal atrophy, PRA, and it robs dogs of their sight. But there's new research that's been done that's led to a gene test that could prevent this disease from ever being passed down to puppies. Someday, they think, eliminating PRA from dog populations for good. Because once the dog's eyesight starts to fail, there's no treatment for it. The dog will end up totally blind. That's just the way it goes, according to veterinary researchers at University of Cambridge. And often, a dog owner might not even realize their dog has this until middle age. Now, though, they have a DNA test, and there's no reason, they say, why another dog ever needs to be born with this form of progressive retinal atrophy. So if you've got a dog breeder, according to researchers, they have a way of completely eliminating this disease. The issue was pinpointing which gene or genes led to this condition. So they compared DNA samples from 6 English Shepherds with PRA and 20 without, and they were able to pinpoint it. They found it. And they say it's a recessive gene. So both the male and female dog involved in breeding have to carry it before it can trigger PRA in a puppy. But they say since dogs are very often inbred, the odds of it happening are a lot higher than among humans. So this is about prevention rather than a cure. But now that they found it, maybe we are a step closer to having that gone. Speaking of animals, we talk a little bit about apes. I like apes. And communication. There's a new study looking at the way that actually chimps talk to each other. And researchers say they take turns chatting just like humans do. So you wait for someone to stop speaking, then you respond. And this is interesting. The human conversations are often rapid fire, right? Milliseconds passing between what one person says and when the next person starts speaking. But this is apparently how chimpanzees do it too. They looked at thousands of gestures from chimps in 5 different communities in East Africa. And researchers who published this report today in a publication called Current Biology found animals take turns while communicating, and they do so just as quickly as humans do. These speedy gestural conversations are seen across chimp communities, and researchers and evolutionary biologists at the University of Rennes, R-E-N-N-E-S, say this is a really exciting finding. Language is the hallmark of our species, and a central feature of language is our ability to take turns. So finding similar behavior in our closest living relative suggests we may have inherited this ability from our shared common ancestor. The research shows that when chimps gesture, like reaching out an arm in a begging gesture, they're often making a request. It can include things like groom me, give me, travel with me. Most of the time, the chimp's partner does the requested behavior, but sometimes the second chimp will respond with its own gestures instead. For instance, one chimp requesting grooming, the other indicating where they would like to be groomed. Groom me first, one would say. So, to figure out where the interactions resemble taking a human turn, they combed through hundreds of hours of footage from a massive database of chimpanzee gestural interactions recorded by multiple researchers across decades of fieldwork in East Africa. The scientists studied the footage, described the precise movements each chimp made when gesturing, the response of the other chimps, the duration of the gestures, and other details, and they found chimps responded to gestures with another gesture in 14% of their interactions. In one case, chimps exchanged 7 gestures in a row. So, that was when one chimp had killed a small antelope and a young female chimp was requesting some of the meat. And every time she made a begging gesture, the other chimp would respond by flinging his arms, lunging and stomping, meaning move, go away, no, right? The turn taking was rapid, often overlapping, and it flowed naturally, just like human conversations. It took chimps an average of just 120 milliseconds to respond to another chimp's gesture with their own, which is well within the 0 to 200 millisecond range common in human interactions. So interesting. We all do it. Look at that. Very interesting. NASA has dropped 25 dazzling images in celebration of the Chandra X-ray Space Telescope, marking 25 years of space observations on July 23rd. I don't have all the pictures to show you, but I did pick out some of the ones that I thought were jaw-droppingly interesting. The picture you see here is a composite image of Jupiter, the 5th planet from the sun, set against the blackness of space. And you can see the neon purple blobs. It's almost in clear focus. More than a dozen bands of swirling gas streak the surface, each a different texture and shade of gray. That's one of the pictures from the Chandra. Here's another one in celebration of the Chandra. Look at that. Kind of looks like something you would see on a mock-up of the inside of the human body, doesn't it? Kind of, a little bit? I don't know. It's another beautiful picture. This one, a composite image with the remnant of a supernova explosion resembling a neon purple mushroom at the heart of a colorful web of veins and filaments, known as the Crab Nebula. The heavily veined blue and red cloud of gas is set against the blackness of space. At the core of the nebula, a pulsar, a rotating neutron star emitting electromagnetic radiation. Here, the pulsar appears as a bright white dot sitting in a neon purple cloud. How cool is that? Love it, love it, love it. Check this one out. Doesn't that look like a monster hand reaching into space? I know, I'm full of it, right? This is a composite image featuring a region of star formation known as the Pillars of Creation. Tall columns of gray gas and dust emerge from the bottom edge of the image, stretching toward the upper right, backed by dark orange and pink mist. The cloudy gray columns are surrounded by dozens of soft glowing dots in whites, reds, blues, yellows, and purples. The dots are young stars emitting X-ray and infrared light. Churning with turbulent gas and dust, the columns lean in with small offshoots pointing in the same direction. Oh, cool. Here's another one. Look at that. Okay, that looks like something from a Star Trek movie. I'm sorry, but it really does. This is a composite image of a large spiral galaxy with some of its superheated gas stolen by a smaller nearby neighbor, centered in the frame. This is N NGC 6872. It's a large spiral galaxy with two elongated arms stretching toward our upper right and lower left. Near the white dot at the heart of the galaxy, a cloud of neon purple tints the arms, which appear steel blue at the tips. The purple represents hot gas detected by Chandra. How cool. Next one is that. That looks magical. So pretty. This image features a double star cluster, a blue-tinted cloud, and several neon purple dots. The double cluster, part of the large Magellanic Cloud, a companion galaxy to the Milky Way. The bright golden stars in the large cluster fill the upper center of the image. The other cluster, much smaller, coincides with one of the neon purple circles located slightly above and to the right of the image's center. This and the other purple circles are X-ray sources detected by Chandra. So interesting. I love it. Got another one for you. Look at that. Does it look like the inside of a blood vessel? It isn't. It's the Cat's Paw Nebula, a brilliant red-purple cloud blanket, black sky packed with stars. Throughout this star-forming region of the Milky Way, distinct pockets of glowing brick-red clouds are linked by wisps of purple. A cluster of the brightest stars in the image are found in the heart of the nebula. Many of them are neon purple, with glowing white dots at their core, representing young stars observed by Chandra. And lastly, and there's so many more, but here's another cool one. Kind of looks like a stingray, doesn't it? Even with the tails and everything. This is really an interesting one. This picture that was caught by Chandra is an image of Cassiopeia A, a supernova, an expanding ball of matter and energy ejected from an exploding star. Rings of neon blue and brilliant white emit veins of polished gold. The rings and their arching veins encircle a place of relative calm at the center of the supernova remnant. This hole at the center of the circle and the three-dimensionality conveyed by the rings and their arching veins gives this image of Cassiopeia A the look of a giant, crackling, electric blue donut. I guess you could say that. It does kind of look like a donut. Yeah. That also detected by Chandra. So if you would like to see all of the pictures, you can find it on the magazine online, PopSci, Popular Science, popsci.com is where I found those. And there's a lot more where that came from, but we won't have time for Travel Tuesday if we don't move along. I do have one more space story for you though. And this one involves Jupiter and the red dot. Look at there, little teeny tiny thing. The red dot is getting smaller. What? Yes, the great red dot is shrinking and shrinking, and there could be fewer storms for the bright red anticyclone to consume. The biggest windstorm in the solar system has been slowly declining for decades. New research could explain why. This study published in the September issue of the journal Icarus. September 2024 issue of Icarus. There are fewer storms feeding this giant anticyclone, causing it to shrink. This is the gas giant's most famous feature, the Great Red Spot in Jupiter's southern hemisphere. It's a swirling red-orange oval of high pressure that's more than 10,000 miles wide. It's about 1.3 times wider than the planet Earth. Doesn't look like it here, does it? The winds of the Great Red Spot consistently blow at more than 200 miles an hour, but they can reach more than 400 miles an hour further out. The spot's winds blow in a counterclockwise direction, so that's why it's called an anticyclone. And it's been studied extensively. A lot of mysteries surrounding the Great Red Spot. Astronomers don't know exactly when it formed or why it's this red color. But a lot of people have looked at it over the last couple hundred years and are pretty fascinated by it. They do know that it's been shrinking for a century. It's getting smaller and smaller, especially over the last 50 years. They measure it and they say, yeah, it's smaller. The Great Red Spot was last measured when NASA's Juno spacecraft arrived to take a series of orbits around the planet in 2006, and they found the Great Red Spot was at 14 degrees. A new study from a team at Yale, North Carolina State University, and the University of Louisville looked at the influence the smaller storms have on that Great Red Spot. And they did a series of 3D simulations of the spot. The model developed by a study co-author as a way to model a planet's atmosphere. And they say they found through numerical simulations that by feeding the Great Red Spot a diet of smaller storms, which has been known to occur on Jupiter, they could modulate its size. So they looked at the long-lived high-pressure systems observed in the Earth's atmosphere in heat domes, and how they play a role in extreme weather events, including heat waves and droughts. They looked at other anticyclones, and they say the study of Jupiter has a very compelling implication for weather events on Earth. So, it motivated their hypothesis that similar interactions on Jupiter could sustain the Great Red Spot. And so, they say that by doing this research, they now have a better understanding of heat domes on Earth. They're going to keep modeling it. They're going to keep measuring it and finding out. You guys ready? I'm ready. I'm ready to break away from science and go to the beach. It is, my friends, Travel Tuesday. Let's go. Pack your bags. We're headed out. For this one, I'd say put your swimsuit on, bring a towel, and maybe a nice cool bottle of water if you don't drink. And if you do drink, then maybe, I don't know. What do you think? A pina colada, maybe? I don't know. First stop is in Norway. Check this out. This list has to do with 20 of the best beaches in Europe. 20 of Europe's most stunning beaches to explore in 2024 is the official name of the article. And number one on the list is Hokland Beach in Norway, rearing up out of the Norwegian Sea like a dragon's backbone. The Lofoten Islands off Norway's northwest coast. They say it's an Arctic dream. Whether seen in the never-dying light of the midnight sun, or under the dancing northern lights, or in the winter snow, Hokland Beach, they say, is out of this world, with spiky granite peaks thrusting above creamy sands and a sapphire sea. And the water is never that cold. I don't know if you want to jump in, but yeah, there it is, Hokland Beach. Number 2 on the list takes us to Italy. Look at that. This is Cala Goloritze, Goloritze, Goloritze in Sardinia, Italy. It's on the east coast, Golfa di Orosi. It's high coastal beauty. Few beaches, they say, make you gasp out loud like Cala Goloritze, with its snow-white pebbles giving way to a sea of the purest aquamarine blue. Yes, please. Limestone cliffs jut dramatically above the bay, as does Monte Carodi, which is a needle of a rock of beloved climbers. You can get here by boat, or you can take the Cala Goloritze Trail. Wow, look at how beautiful that place is. Number 3 on the list takes us to Scotland. And this is West Beach in Scotland. It's out on a limb in the wild North Atlantic in Scotland, away from some of Europe's remotest beaches. It's hard to find, they say, but West Beach is on the wee isle of Berneray, and they say it's divine. Dunes and wind-bent grasses is what you see first, and then you reach what they call a ravishing expanse of white sand, sliding gently into a turquoise sea. It's often empty, but for seabirds trilling overhead and the occasional porpoise or otter. How pretty is that? We're going back to Corsica. We've been there before together, and now we go again. Oh, look at how beautiful that is. I'm feeling it. I see you right there, Heather. You got a beach chair out there. You're sitting there on the beach. Mo's over there. He's hanging out on a towel on the sand. Laura's waiting with her ankles in the water. SF Tesla's sitting on the rocks, taking in the view. I get it. That's right. This is a beautiful beach. It is Plaga de Polombagia, Corsica, in the southeast, one of the best beaches in France. It bewitches with its long curve of pale powder-soft sand, shelving into cerulean blue waters as clear as glass. I can see that. Looks clear as glass, doesn't it? Backed by fragrant umbrella pines, hemmed in by wooded hills that strum with cicadas come sundown. Because you guys taught me how to say cicada right. I'm on it now. Overlooking the Ile Cerbicale. This could well be the beach of your wildest Mediterranean dreams. Bring a snorkel and bring a picnic. Plage de Polombagia in Corsica. That's so beautiful. The next place we're going, taking a little trip to Spain, because this beach is absolutely beautiful. Look at this. I can picture you guys here too as well. There's Janet over there. There's Murphy. Got her blue umbrella. I can see it. I can see it now. This is Platja Iletes in Formentera, Spain. A long sweep of beach blonde sand and translucent azure waters. It fits the barefoot paradise bill. Comparisons are made with the Caribbean, but they say, why would you want to imagine yourself anywhere else but Spain? The beach forms the western section of the slender Trucador Peninsula, and just offshore are the two iletes, or islets, Puet and Redona, which give this beach its name. So beautiful. Would you look at the color of that water? That's the stuff of dreams. You might not think that Wales has beautiful beaches, but you would be wrong, because it is on the list of the 20th best European beaches to explore in 2024. Barafundle Bay, Wales. It's a breezy walk over gorse-cloaked cliff tops on the Pembroke Coast Path, ramping up the anticipation to Barafundle Bay. They call it, and this is so poetic by Lonely Planet, an arc of butterscotch sand rimmed by dunes that ease their way gently to clear turquoise water. I want to be that writer. This bay often tops the polls of the UK's finest beaches. If you avoid busy weekends in the summer, you will feel the magic there in Wales. How beautiful is that? It doesn't look that crowded, does it? Looks kind of relaxing, I would say. What do you think? Wales? I think we could go. If not Wales, perhaps we'll go to the next one in Portugal. What do you think of this place? Pretty nice. Love the waters there. Greens and blues. So pretty. This is Praia de Arefana, Portugal. On the wild, wind-whipped west coast. Not very crowded. Atlantic waves are tremendous. The cliff-wrapped Praia de Arefana is a gorgeous golden crescent with a ruined fortress, beachside restaurant, and plenty of serious surf. You can also check out the lagoon on the other side, Praia de Bordera, where the dunes give way to the brilliant blue sea. So pretty. Love this. Shall we go here? I think we should go here. Yes, we shall go here, as a matter of fact. I would like to do it. Hold on. I lost my place. Okay, but that's pretty good. I have to say, of all the places to stop, it's a pretty good place to stop. I'll take it in Portugal. We're going back to Spain next. Cala Macarella in Menorca, Spain. This next beach is really beautiful as well. The colors just so pretty. Here, I have it. Here it is. I have it. I promise. I've waylaid our trip. Oh, that's pretty nice. I like it. Yep. I'll take it all. There's another one. I have another one. Okay, so the next one is Cala Macarella in Menorca, Spain. A tiny indentation of Menorca's southwest coast, Cala Macarella is a stuff of fantasy. They say it has flower white sand and startlingly turquoise waters. It's among cliffs stippled with pines and holm oaks, and it can only be reached by foot or by boat. Gets pretty busy in the summer, but it sure is pretty. Our next stop on the, and there it was. That's actually the picture of it. I'm sorry, I messed up. This is the picture of Cala Macarella in Menorca, Spain. You can see there it has a horseshoe shape. Yeah. And again, you can get there only by foot or by boat. And look at how clear that water is. I mean, that is so, so pretty. Absolutely beautiful. I'll take it. Shall we go to Greece yet again? We've been to Greece before, but I don't think we stopped by this beach last time. Look at that. How beautiful. This is Navajo Beach in Greece. It's the beach of a million postcards. Navajo in Zakynthos, better known by its nickname Shipwreck Beach, because of the stranded cargo ship that is on its shores. It has mighty cliffs above a perfect arc of sand and sea so blue, they say it looks photoshopped, but it isn't. It's a heaven on earth beach, and it's no secret. If you don't go in the high season, though, it's worth boating it out there to be momentarily absolutely floored by its devastating beauty. I mean, it really does look like a dream. It doesn't look real. So beautiful. How about we stop by Mallorca? I say, let's stop by Mallorca. Look at that. That's worth it. Platja de Col Bay, B-A-I-X, Bay, in Mallorca. Half the fun of this one, they say, is finding it. It's a beauty of a beach on Mallorca's off-the-beaten-path track, Cap de Pinar Peninsula, a walking trail that descends through pines and scrambles down the coast. A lovely scoop of pale pebbles and crystal clear sea, rimmed by crumbling cliffs, the bay is at its peaceful best in the early morning or late in the day. So that's pretty nice. It looks very deserted because there's not very many people that can find it. So I say, let's go. So pretty. Shall we go back to France? I think we should. That's not the right picture of France. This next one, though, is Île des Pourquerolles in France. It's a car-free islet of Île des Pourquerolles dangling just off the coast of Hyeray. They call it an amuse-bouche of the French Riviera. So pretty. So pretty that I have to show you a picture. They say you can sidestep the sun-worshipping day trippers in the height of summer, and it's best if you come and see it in the low season. That it's still beautiful, that it's still the most amazing place to visit even then. You got to check it out. Its water's gorgeous through the view of the trees. Not very many people there in the low season. They say, you feel the love for this crescent-shaped beach on a pearl white sand skirted by pine and eucalyptus woods as well. There's another place I might not have thought right off the bat when I think of, I don't know, tropical beaches that I want to go. This one's in Iceland. For some reason, I just think chilly. But look how beautiful this place is. Gorgeous. This is, and I'll say it wrong, and my apologies to the folks of Iceland, Rauasonder, Iceland. It's on the Latrabjarg Peninsula in the remote West Fjords, reached by a winding mountain road, and it's one of Iceland's best beaches. Vast, empty, staggeringly beautiful, according to Lonely Planet. Formed by crushed scallop shells, its bronze sands are buttressed by dark cliffs, but backed by an azure lagoon, and tormented by a wild, wild sea. You had me already at dark cliffs and an azure lagoon. You didn't need to keep going. They have the seabird cliffs there, where there are puffins and seals lounging on the rocks. And on clear days, you can see out toward a glacier volcano. All my life, I never heard of such a thing as a glacier volcano. All right, this is the one we were looking at before that I now have more information on. It's called Praia as Cathedra, Spain. So they say if you'd like to worship at the altar of beach gods, this is it. Praia as Cathedra in Gallica takes its name from Cathedral Beach, from the way the wind and the water have gnawed at this stretch of coastline into spectacular rock arches, towers, and chambers. They say it's best to visit at low tide when the long golden sands are properly exposed. If you go in the high summer, you need a permit, which is free, in order to visit this area. I have never been here and always wanted to go. This next beach is located on Montenegro, and it's gorgeous. The color of the water just grabs me, and then I just start picturing myself laying on that sand. So beautiful. Sveti Stefan, Montenegro. The Adriatic, says Lonely Planet, doesn't get much more ludicrously photogenic than the fortified island village of Sveti Stefan, one of the loveliest beaches in Montenegro, where pines, olive trees, and oleanders are growing above the 15th century stone villas, which are looking over pink sands and waters from their rocky perch. They say you can laze on the beach, but unless you're staying at the Aman resort, you can only visit the actual island by tour. Shall we make our way over to Cyprus? I think we should, because it's really pretty, although that's pretty nice. I don't know if I want to leave it, but I think we could make it happen. In Cyprus, here's what we're going for. We're going for this kind of water. Nope, that's the Cypress in Monterey. That is the wrong Cypress, my friends. But at least I realized it. Yeah. I don't know why I don't have that picture. I'll have to download it because it's really pretty. You got to take a 4-wheel drive to get to Lara Beach in Cyprus. But it's home to turtles, and it's home to seals, and it's really, really quite beautiful. So it's definitely, I would say, worth a visit. Although Monterey is quite lovely, check out this beach. This, again, is Lara Beach in Cyprus, which is different than the beach you're looking at now. I'll get myself together. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Look at the rocks there. It's very, very secluded. It's on the island's west coast. It's a very bumpy drive, which is why they recommend a 4-wheel drive to get there. But they say when you do arrive, you see the sands that are pristine, the water that is pristine. It's a conservation area. It's an important hatchery and nesting ground for loggerhead and green turtles. Monk seals also inhabit sea caves around this peninsula. So beautiful, so important that when you go to a place like that, that you respect the wildlife there. It's almost like you don't want to tell people about it because you don't want the Tourons to go, but we're not those people, so we can go and be respectful and have fun. And I think this might be my favorite of the whole list. This is Zlatni Rat in Croatia. It looks awfully crowded, but it looks awfully incredible too. It is not a secret, obviously, but if you go to on the low season, you find kind of a more peaceful vibe at this sand and pebble beach, which dips its pale, slender toes, according to Lonely Planet, into the inky Adriatic and gazes wistfully up to the rugged cliffs and forested mountains of Dalmatia. Pine trees offer welcome shade in this area. It's incredibly beautiful. Another place I might not think of going would be the coast of Denmark. But it's awfully pretty, I'll tell you. This beach in Denmark makes the list of the best European beaches to visit in 2024. And this is Duade, Denmark. It's at the southernmost tip of the island of Bornholm in Denmark's Baltic Sea. Expansive dunes and pines, the sand white and as soft as talcum powder. You can kind of see that in the picture. So white. So fine-grained that it was once used in hourglasses. You can walk for miles, finding space and solitude, and wade out to sea forever with the water only reaching your knees. By night, the only light comes from the stars and the blinking lighthouses. So, so pretty. Well, since we're in Europe, we might as well head on over to Ireland and check out Keem Bay, Keem. Keem Bay, Ireland. It looks quaint, doesn't it? And also very beautiful. It's Ireland's wild Atlantic way, hiding the gold, they say, when it comes to dramatic coastlines, and nowhere more glorious than Keem Bay. It's a remote location at the far west of Achill or Achill Island, Achill, a precipitous coastal drive fires the appetite for proper wilderness. Again, Lonely Planet. And they say, bearing the brunt of stormy seas and the fickle whims of Irish weather, this is a half-moon bay of golden sand spreading out at the foot of steep cliffs and grassy slopes, and basking sharks can sometimes be sighted right offshore. So, gotta watch the sharks there in Keem Bay, Ireland. But I would say yes. That's a yes to me. So beautiful. How about we go back to Greece? What do you think? This is Myrtos Beach in Kefalonia, Greece. And it's quite beautiful. There it is. Yes, please. I'll go there. The road that gets here is kind of creepy. You can see it up above there. It's a very twisty, windy road, hillside, to Myrtos on the Greek island of Kefalonia. And it makes your heart beat really fast. It looks like from up above that the coast has been cut in two. But once you get down there, you see this white pebble bay framing these sheer cliffs and the sea that is almost every blue on the color chart. So beautiful. It's justifiably popular, so they say avoid the peak times and the peak seasons. And lastly, I have another Italian beach to show you. We're going back to Italy. This is Spiaggia. It's pretty nice, I'll tell you that. Very crowded, but also very nice. Spiaggia de Conigli in Sicily, Italy. They say Sicily has some pretty fantastic beaches, but this one lies off the coast in this kind of, it doesn't look very secret, but they say still kind of secret, Lampedusa. It's Italy's southernmost island, technically closer to Tunisia. And Spiaggia de Conigli is also called or also known as Rabbit Beach. It's bleached sands and shallow aquamarine water. It is accessible only by boat or on foot. This beach forms part of a marine reserve where loggerhead turtles nest, and so it's off limits at night from May to August. Otherwise, you're good to go. How beautiful is that? And that is Travel Tuesday. We were going to go to Belgium, but it just didn't sing to me like the rest of Europe did. If you would like more information on any of these places, you can always email me, kim@theafterparty.live or kimmcallister@gmail.com. Either will work, and I will forward you this lonelyplanet.com article about the best beaches to visit in 2024 in Europe. So, there we have it, my friends. That is the After Party Live, and I can't thank you enough for being here for it with me. I'm very grateful to you for your time and your efforts. Very grateful to Wes for kicking down $5 to the After Party Live, and everyone who continues to fund this show through the PayPal link. So important. It is at the bottom of the show description and in the link of the About tab here on YouTube as well. So thank you again for that. We'll keep this show going. One way or another, we'll do it. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you have a really good rest of your day. Now, because I was so engrossed in Travel Tuesday, I get to go back and read all of your comments, which is kind of my favorite part of the day. Have a really good one. I will see you tomorrow on the Nikki Maduro Show. Tomorrow it's John Rothman and Belinda Weymouth with It's the Planet Stupid on the Mark Thompson Show, followed by the After Party Live. So I'll hope to see you again then. For now,
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.